It started as a joke, a throwaway moment, a harmless suggestion, something said to fill the silence between segments. "Hey, Jonathan," the host chuckled, nudging the mic toward him. "You've played Jesus long enough. How about you sing us a hymn?" The crowd laughed. It wasn't cruel, just playful. The kind of laugh people give when they expect nothing real to come next. But Jonathan Roumie didn't laugh. He didn't roll his eyes, didn't wave it off. Instead, he smiled softly, a little sad, a little knowing, and he stepped forward. The band behind him was still. The lights didn't change. No music started. No one really expected him to sing, but he did. He closed his eyes, took a breath, and then, a single note, quiet, clear, barely above a whisper. It wasn't polished, wasn't rehearsed, but it was real. The room changed. You could feel it, from the back row to the front lights, from the audience to the control booth. People leaned in. Something was happening, and they didn't know why yet. Jonathan Roumie was singing, not to perform, not to impress, but to say something. And what he sang wasn't just a song, it was a prayer, a cry, a confession, a song about Jesus, about mercy, about love that meets you in the dark, even when you're the one who turned off the lights. And, one by one, the laughter faded. Heads dropped, eyes welled, phones held up to record a joke, slowly lowered because what they were witnessing, what they were hearing, was too raw to capture through a screen. It was the kind of sound that bypasses logic, that slips past the part of you that pretends, and hits straight into the part that aches. He sang of brokenness, of the night he doubted, of the prayer he whispered when he thought no one was listening. He sang of a Jesus who didn't demand perfection, just honesty, and with each word, the room got smaller. Not physically, spiritually. Suddenly, it wasn't a studio. It was a sanctuary. People held their breath, and those who couldn't, cried. One man, a cameraman who'd worked in the business for 25 years later, said he hadn't cried in a decade. But something about Roumie's voice cracked the dam inside. He wasn't just singing. He was bleeding something holy, something forgotten. He hit the final note, fragile, trembling, and let the silence carry it out. No applause, just quiet, like the room was grieving something it hadn't known. It lost. When Roumie opened his eyes, they were wet, but he smiled, a gentle, grateful kind of smile, as if the burden had been lifted. The host cleared his throat, fumbled with his cards, swallowed hard. Wow, he managed. But there were no jokes, no transitions, no clever lines, only stillness, because something real had just happened, and no one wanted to move past it too quickly. The next day, the internet lit up. Clips of Jonathan Roumie's performance flooded every platform. No edits, no commentary, just raw, unfiltered truth. Some uploaded it with titles like Unexpected Prayer on Late Night. Others simply wrote, "You need to hear this." Within hours, it had millions of views. People weren't just watching it, they were sharing it, texting it to their mothers, their sons. Pastors played it in churches. Atheists reposted it with a strange reverence. But for every soul stirred, came the storm. Critics circled like sharks. He's acting. It was staged. He weaponized faith. He manipulated emotion. Talk shows debated it. Blogs picked it apart. One outlet wrote, "Jonathan Roumie plays Jesus, and apparently now thinks he is one." And through it all, Jonathan stayed silent. No tweets, no press releases, no explanations. Not because he was afraid, because he knew something they didn't. That sacred things don't survive in shouting. Matches. He went quiet for a week. Spent time walking, reading, praying. He wasn't hiding. He was listening. And when a small church in New Jersey invited him to speak, not perform, not sing, just speak, he said yes. No cameras. No audience beyond a handful of tired souls and folding chairs. He wore jeans, an old flannel. No makeup, no script. He stood in front of the small room, holding nothing but a paper cup of water. Someone asked him, "Why did you sing that night?" He didn't answer right away. Instead, he looked down, hands trembling slightly. "I didn't plan to," he said finally. "I was tired. Spiritually, physically, mentally." He paused. "And when they asked me to sing, it felt like a trap, like they wanted to mock something I hold sacred." Another long breath. "So I did it anyway, not to defend God, but to remind myself, He's still with me." No applause. Just silence. A woman stood in the back. She was older, wearing scrubs beneath her coat. "My son used to sing in church," she said softly. He doesn't anymore. Says it's fake. Says God doesn't show up where cameras are. She wiped her eyes. But he watched her clip 3 times. Didn't say a word. Just cried. The room was still. Jonathan looked at her. Not like a celebrity. Like a brother. I didn't sing to bring anyone back, he said. I sang because I didn't want to lose myself. Another pause. And maybe that's where faith begins again. In the voice that trembles, but still chooses to rise. Someone whispered, Amen. But not everyone was moved. Online, a popular influencer mocked him. Spliced the clip with sound effects. Added laughing emojis posted. This is why actors shouldn't preach. It went viral. The tone shifted. What was once awe became cynicism. Producers pulled back, networks stopped calling. And for the first time since the song, Jonathan felt alone. He sat in his small apartment one night. Lights off. Guitar in his lap. He strummed a chord. And stopped. No melody came. Only a question. God, did I mess this up? He whispered it like a child. Not demanding. Not accusing. Just. Small. The answer didn't thunder. Didn't appear in lights. It came in the quiet. In the memory of a boy. Singing in his room at 12. Believing that maybe, just maybe, someone was listening. And in that memory, he found the courage to keep singing. Even if no one clapped this time. Even if no one believed him because he knew the truth. You don't sing to be heard. You sing because silence isn't always survival. 3 weeks later, Jonathan received an invitation. An award show. Big stage. Bigger audience. They wanted him to present. Nothing fancy. A brief appearance. But attached at the bottom of the email was a note. We'd love if you'd sing again. This time, it wasn't a joke. It was a test. He almost said no. He almost deleted it and went back to his quiet routine of morning prayer, coffee, and scripts left unanswered. But something stirred inside him. A whisper. Not the voice of ambition. Not the echo of applause. Something older, quieter, calling him back to the fire. So he said yes. The lights were blinding. The room was packed. Famous faces. Cameras, applause on cue. But when Jonathan stepped on stage, something was different. He wasn't dressed like a star. He didn't read from the teleprompter. He didn't even greet the audience. He just looked out. Quietly took the mic and said, I was asked to sing tonight, but not because I'm a singer. Not because I'm special, but because something happened that wasn't supposed to. He paused. A few weeks ago, I sang out of weakness. Out of exhaustion. Out of a need that had no words. And somehow, it reached you. His voice lowered. I don't know what you believe. But I believe this. We're not saved by perfect notes. We're saved by surrendered ones. Then, without a band, without backup, he sang again. The same song. Softer. Slower. This time, steadier. And when he finished, he didn't wait for applause. He set the mic down, nodded once, and walked off stage, leaving behind silence. But not emptiness. Because this time, the silence felt holy. And in that stillness, people remembered something they'd forgotten. That one man, singing out of truth, can stir 1,000 hearts. Not by being loud, but by being real.